What's up, guys? Dynamic2839 with Boss Gaming Network. Merry Christmas. This will be our first episode for Boss Gaming Network. I am a division leader for Boss. We always are recruiting, so if interested, definitely go to our website. We'll get to that at the end of the show, though. So, first off, tell you a little about this channel. This channel will basically exist for a couple of purposes, but it's all gaming related and technology. So, first off, we'll be doing game reviews, we'll be doing gameplay footage, and we also will be testing out different products on here, and also taking in any questions that people have. We will answer them to our best of our knowledge. I have a lot of experience with gaming, so I have a lot of answers and knowledge about all this stuff. So, first off, just to give you a little info about my knowledge of gaming, the very first console I ever owned was an Atari 2600. So if that gives you any idea, if you know what that is, then that lets you know how much experience I have going back on gaming. So, from that being said, we do run tournaments weekly. We do give prizes out for that. So, if you want to get interested in that as well, contact me through the email. You can see that on the website as well. So, okay. So, the first thing is, what are the best consoles out at this very moment? Well, I would probably say PS4, but it kind of seems bad because I used to be a huge Xbox 360 fan. For me to switch over to Sony, it's kind of like, well, why don't I like Xbox anymore? Like, what reason could there be for me not to like Xbox anymore? Okay, let's talk about Nintendo. Nintendo was one of my favorite consoles back when I was a teen. You remember also Super Mario World, Mortal Kombat, all the other good games, Chrono Trigger if you were an RPG fan. These games were awesome. Like, anyone who played RPGs knows that Chrono Trigger was one of the best in the history of gaming. For a Super Nintendo, that was incredible. So, running 16-bit graphics. Not like today, we're running a lot more. Now, with that being said, probably the 64, I would say, wasn't as good as the Super Nintendo, which is kind of a shame because the Nintendo 64 was 64-bit, as in its name. But for some reason, the game sucked. I remember playing Ocarina of Time for Zelda, and that game had so much just the coloring and the graphical design. Just, it felt like I was playing a freaking Doom game or something like that, even in daytime. They could have did a better job with lighting in the game, but that's what 64-bit was back then. You couldn't really do too much for helping with the lighting. So they did do better with the next consoles and so forth. But GameCube came out, and GameCube was one of my favorite consoles. I did own that. They changed it all the way around. It was that console was too bright. Instead of being dark, it made it super bright. But I think now Nintendo has it down pat. The Wii U, one of the best consoles out in the field right now. The new Zelda game they just released, awesome. I mean, if you haven't played it, go to your local Walmart, try the demo, see if you like it. One of the best games that just released on Nintendo Wii U was Zelda, the new Zelda on Wii U. So, all right. Now let's go ahead and jump back into the Xbox PlayStation thing. Xbox, I would say they kind of focus more on entertainment this time around with the Xbox One. Their exclusives, they pretty much sold to everyone, so we pretty much lost all of our original creators. I think Gears of War still has its original creators, but even that, I mean, the stories is just like, they're taking it to a whole nother level. Like, it's not what it used to be. Like, the good old shoot 'em up, oh, this is fun, let's play with my friends. It's more like, okay, it's focusing more on story now, and the story just isn't that great. Okay, so talking about that, let's go over to PlayStation real quick. What are the best titles, or exclusives, I should say, for PlayStation 4, to be exact? I would probably have to say the Uncharted series. It's pretty good. You also have God of War. God of War was pretty awesome. They took a big spin change on that as well too, with the whole like him now fighting Norse gods instead of fighting the Greek gods. I thought that was kind of strange. It's kind of like taking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of the sewer and then like putting them in clouds. Like, yeah. So with that being said, I don't know. It just really depends on the type of gamer you are. If you want to, be interested in playing a shooter, or if you want to be interested in RPG style. There's also the PC. We'll touch on that a little bit later as well. I'm more of a console player. To be honest with you, I love console games. I probably will play a console over a PC any day. I've got a friend who actually loves PC, and let's just say he probably wouldn't put his hands near a console controller for the life of him. I could try and talk him into it all day, and he's like, no. Sorry, Dynamic. You go ahead and have fun with that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I will. Yeah. Let's pop in some Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever. So, I do play PC. Like I said, I have extensive knowledge on gaming. One of my favorite games on PC, RPG-wise, would probably have to be the MMOs, massive multiplayer online games. They're really good. Pretty sure everyone has heard of World of Warcraft. That would probably be one of the biggest titles of an MMO, probably in the history of PC gaming. I mean, it's kind of going down now, but in the beginning, like back in the 1990s, this was like a huge MMO. I mean, people were like, holy, what the? I need that. Like, this game is awesome. People were paying $15 a month, plus they had to pay for the initial cost for the game. So they were making their money. Remember them having somewhere around like 90 million like members or subscribers or something like that, something crazy. So I'm not really sure. I just remember reading a little bit about it when I was younger, but they keep expanding it. They're still expanding it, actually. The world of Azeroth and the Horde and Alliance and all that is actually still growing. They're actually letting people get free mounts, and they're giving them free money to come join World of Warcraft, and it's just like, wow, like, man, these guys are dedicated to like trying to keep their members. But alas, there's other games now that are giving World of Warcraft its competition. So, sorry, World of Warcraft, you were good while it lasted. Maybe the Hearth game they brought out where you play with cards might pick up where World of Warcraft left off at. But okay, so let's talk about something else here. The Tomb Raider game. They keep bringing out Tomb Raider games. And what I don't understand about the Tomb Raider game, if you're going to be, let's say, a franchise game, why not keep the character looking the same? Kind of like how Mario is in Nintendo. Every Mario game since, like, the first Nintendo, the guy looks exactly the same. He's just this short, chubby dude with, like, this thick mustache, and he's always like, it's me, Mario. So everyone knows who he is, like, and he always looks the same. Same thing with Luigi. Is that these are iconic characters that you just don't forget. You know who they are as soon as you see them. One thing about these these other big titles like Tomb Raider, like they'll have the main character who is, I guess, Lara Croft, and Lara Croft will actually be like, she looks one way, and then the next game she'll look different. Then she'll look different again in another game. So it was like, what's going on, right? This is a very interesting thing for me. I really like Tomb Raider. I like the fact that you get to do puzzles and jump around and such like that. Really awesome. I like it. It's cool. But personally, keep the character the same. Stop changing the character, because as soon as you fall in love with one character, then you have to fall in love with a whole other character, and it's like, oh well, you know what? Forget it. Like it sucks. Okay, so just saying that. All right, so let's go on to another game. I'm just kind of like grabbing games out of thin air here. All right, so we're gonna go with something that's good. Halo. There we go. That's a big iconic game right there. Everyone remembers Halo, right? Okay, so with Halo, the very first Halo on Xbox was a really good game. That was probably one of the best games I played ever back when I was a teenager. And all I did was shoot with my friend. We played all night playing Halo 1. This was so cool. Like, this game was awesome. I loved it. After which, Halo 2 came out, which was even better than Halo 1. Then they shut the servers down. I don't even know why they did that. I remember being really mad about that. Storyline was incredible for Halo 2. So then Halo 3 came out. Halo 3 was insane. that was like the continuation of the Master Chief still being lost. You know, Earth hasn't found him. UNSC was looking for him. It was just pretty insane. So, Halo 3 was good. Introduced the brutes. Or actually, no, I think the brutes were in part 2. See if I can remember back that far. Let's see. We had the Honor Guard, Covenant. Then we had the brutes, and then I think there was I think that was it. Other than that, it was like a bunch of like new bosses and such like that. But 3 did introduce. I believe the brutes did come in 3. Yeah, the brutes were introduced in 3. I remember now. And of course, the Flood and Covenant was there. Halo 4 came out, you know, but at this point, the original creators of Halo sold over their rights to the game that they made so awesome and great and legendary over to a brand new company. And that was like, what? Did they really just do that? Like, they really just basically just throw their fans out the window. Like, hey, you know what? Heck, we know you guys have been following us for like the last 10 years, but you know, we don't want to do Halo anymore. We're going to go to a whole other game. So we're going to sell this to a whole other company. So now everyone's like, what the? So, all right. So anyway, we got a new company called 343. They're running the whole Halo series. One of my favorite series from back when I was younger. So it was like, okay, here we go. Halo 4 sucked. As simple as that. It just sucked. Like the multiplayer wasn't too bad. I mean, the multiplayer was okay. I actually liked the multiplayer, to be honest with you. But I wasn't a really big fan of the storyline of Halo 4. It just dragged out, and it gave you like a little bit of information to push the storyline just a little bit further, but nothing like really special. It was kind of like, what the? Anyway, Halo 5, it was interesting. It was better than 4, I will say that. I think 4 honestly was like the worst Halo, if you ask me. Even though they hyped it up more than any other Halo. You know, they gave you like the freaking special edition of Halo 4. When you bought it, they gave you like this gray box, and you opened it up, and the game was inside, but it was like filled with all this memorabilia of like just like these notes from military like soldiers within the game, like sending you letters, like they're talking to their family, like I miss you and da 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 da, and they have like this little DLC where it's like a little real life movie, like with the Master Chief and like ODST and everything. I'm just like, what the heck? And the game sucked. I was like, the best thing I got from Halo 4 was literally like, I guess the DLC for the real live action footage and like all the memorabilia they gave me. Like everything else was just kind of like, where are we going with the story? It's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, Didac. All right, I got you. So, yeah, Halo 5 was better. I like Halo 5. Introduced the new Spartans versus the old Spartans, and you know, Locke had a fight with Master Chief, and that was pretty cool and the whole thing. And at the end, if you beat Halo 5 on Legendary mode, you would have a quick glimpse of his actual face. If people don't know this, if you beat Halo 5 already, you probably saw the part where you see Master Chief walking. They take off his armor, then he'll walk down the hall some more, and then he'll get to a part where they actually take off his helmet, but they never show it. But what people don't realize is that if you beat it on Legendary, you will get a chance to see his face. So, just some info there. All right, so start off Halo real quick. Oh, and also, before we leave off Halo, there is a Halo 6 that is releasing, and supposedly this is supposed to give you an option if you want Master Chief to live or die. I don't know if this is true, so it's not a spoiler because it's a rumor. I heard it, okay? All right, so let's go on to other things now. All right, so Halo, really big anticipated game. I think Halo 6 will be really big anticipated. There's a few other games. Let's go over to some shooters. Okay, Call of Duty. Where should I start with Call of Duty? All right, let's see. One of my favorite shooters. Call of Duty is one of the best. Gotta love some Call of Duty. So anyway, we got. I'll start from the very first Call of Duty I played, and that was Part 1, where you're actually in Nazi Germany, and you have to basically, with the American troops, take out the Nazis. Which was pretty interesting. That game was really action-packed. Like, the only thing I hated about it was, like, the grenades, because the grenades was spammed. Like, the enemies just consistently throw these grenades, like, consistently just throwing them. I'm like, Like, come on. Like, I mean, even in part 2 was the same way. In 3, they still spam grenades. I'm like, what the hell? The spamming of grenades, like even World at War, they spam grenades. I think the only when Call of Duty stopped spamming grenades so much, I think it probably was one of the newer ones. Like, 'cause they even did it in Black Ops 2, I believe. They did it in Ghost. Man, I think Advanced Warfare, they slowed down with the spamming of grenades. I didn't see it so much like in the older games. It started making a little bit more sense because the way they were throwing grenades is kind of not. It just did not make sense. Like, how many grenades do you have on you, sir? Like, you just threw like 3 at me, and you're like tossing like 5 more, and then like it just consistently goes. It's like, come on. I mean, more like a puzzle game, not an actual like live shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like war. I'm actually playing a puzzle. Like, what's going on with this? Yeah, but right now we have Call of Duty Call of Duty World War II that just recently released, and this is one of the best Call of Duties to ever release. They put a lot of effort into this game. I got to give them props for this one. I actually like the way it looks, Call of Duty World War II. It looks like a game you can really get back into, create your clans and everything like that. You know, maybe get some possible MLG battles out of it. You know, wink, wink. Anyone that wants to get involved with that, hit me up. You know. Also, the graphics, you know, are really astounding. I mean, and they have a lot of new features they added too. So you can actually drop in on the battlefield from aircraft, and while you're falling from the aircraft, you can be shot by a stray bullet that someone shot from the ground, and you could die before you actually land on the ground with the rest of the infantry. This is awesome. I'm like, what? That's pretty realistic. If you can get shot while you're on a parachute, you just jumped out of an airplane and you got shot before you can hit the ground, and that's like that you're dead. That's it. Like, wow, that's pretty damn realistic. I gotta give World War II its credit on that. You know, zombies of course and everything in there. But yeah, okay. So besides that, Battlefield of course, Battlefield 1, Battlefield, I think was it 1952 or something like that. Battlefield 3. These are all the ones I played anyway. Then there was Battlefield 4. But besides all that, let's go back to Battlefield Hardline. One of my best Battlefield games was Battlefield Hardline because it introduced private security and police and terrorists. So, and you know, it kind of like it kind of like stepped away from the military for a minute. You know, and they're like, okay, here, let's talk about these police, you know, law enforcement and SWAT teams, you know, and security versus the terrorists, you know, and you know, and the foreign, like, you know, bank heisters and stuff like that. Like, it was just like really cool to see that aspect of the game. Like, you're like running through cities and stuff like that, trying to find these guys, and pretty cool game. Yes, gotta love that. I love that game. Yeah, and the other thing was Rainbow Six Siege. That was a good shooter, I think. It introduced you cutting out walls and rebuilding walls and blocking walls. All this to either help your friends or kill your friends. I mean, other than that, you still had your good guns, you still had your rifles, your pistols, your armor, all that good stuff. It was a good game. Rainbow Six Siege was really cool. I think that was one of the better shooters that came out as well. Let's see. Tom Clancy's Division. I don't know if I can actually call that game a shooter. I played a lot of Tom Clancy's Division. I will say that. And with that game, one thing I will say is this. It reminded me more of an RPG than an actual shooter. I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, it reminded me more of an actual RPG. So I did like the fact that you could have 3 other players basically run around New York City with you and take down enemies, you know, do missions and so on and so forth. But I can't really call it a shooter because it wasn't like you were first person holding the gun. You know, you're going into like scope mode and such like that, and you know, it wasn't like a realistic shooter. It was more like an RPG. Like it felt like an MMO kind of, but it wasn't. It was a sandbox. So it was kind of like a Grand Theft Auto, but you were just like, you know, in Call of Duty type clothes and form and style. That's all it really was. I mean, I really didn't see nothing too special about Tom Clancy Division. Like I said, it was fun if you had friends. If you had friends, it was fun. playing by yourself, it was kind of you know, you can find randoms online, but I mean, they would leave the game unexpectedly, like in the middle of like a major challenge. So you're like sitting there, like, what the heck am I? You just left me with like 100 enemies. Like you just leave the game, like, like yeah. I mean, Tom Clancy's Division was kind of, you know, at least they could fill in an AI or something like that to help you, right? I mean, if someone leaves in the middle of a mission, I mean, that's what most games should do nowadays. Yeah, so yeah, I'll give that game. You know, I'm not going to rate the games. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just talking about games at this moment. So that's another thing we'll be doing on this channel. We'll be rating games for what we think was good or bad from a scale of 1 to 10. You know, 10 being good, 1 being horrible. So, I mean, uh, generally, I give games anywhere between like a 6 and a 7 if it's okay. If I really don't like it, I might give it like a 5. I've never really given a game like anything lower than a 5. If I give a game something lower than a 5, that means that game sucked. That means every aspect of that game just was like, who made this game? Like, who made this? Who wasted their money and time making this game? Like, the only games that you'll see like that are like be arcade games. Like arcade games will come out and you're like, oh, what's this? This looks cool, and you'll download it for free or something. It won't even cost money. And you're like, oh, they actually got a contract with Sony. Oh, okay, they're on Sony PlayStation's free list, and you go and download it, and it's like, what the is this? Like, who made this? Like, that game gets a 3. Simple as that. It's like that's the only time I see games get that low of a score from me anyway. Most games, like I said, I generally give somewhere between like a 6 or 7. If it's really phenomenal, I'll give it a 9. If it's something that just literally blows me away, I'm like, okay, well, it's a 10. I'll give it a 10. And then I'll actually recommend people to go get it. I'll even tell them why it's good to get, without spoiling, of course. I don't like the spoilers. So, yeah. I only wanted to cover a few things in this first episode. Once again, Merry Christmas. The last thing I want to cover is the VR headset. Now, there are several of these headsets out, and the one I played is the PS4 VR. Uh, man, there's a lot of good things I can say about this, and there's a lot of bad things I can say about this. What I will say, it is the right step for gaming because of the fact that it's basically progressing, taking us to a new level of gaming itself. Instead of us just sitting in a chair and playing at home, even if it's your favorite gamer chair, your pro rocker gamer chair, and you're talking about putting a headset on. You're literally going into the game. You're involving yourself in the game itself. So it's more of a experience rather than you just playing a video game. Like each time I put on the VR headset, it was like literally going to this other world, and it was really awesome because they give you a lot of different ways of playing. Like there's ones where you have to basically walk around. There's one where you have to like fly, and there's ones where you have to swim, explore, investigate. They have so many different titles now. I think one of the biggest titles that released on a VR headset, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Resident Evil game that recently came out. And that game got a lot of good reviews for a VR headset game. From what I can see, I never played it, but from what I can see from the videos and such like that, it looked pretty interesting. I don't know. I've been a fan of Resident Evil, but it was going downhill before the VR version came out, so I kind of fell back from playing it as much. I did purchase the remade version of Part 1 on the PS4, which is pretty good actually. They actually copied it almost exactly from Part 1. They gave it so much better graphics. I am playing that. That's actually pretty fun. But the PS4 VR version of Resident Evil looks really good too. They gave it like the best game on there. So I don't know. I played a few games. I played Journey. Journey was a game I played where you're basically I guess like you're a space traveler, and you crash land on some planet, and you have to survive there until rescue arrives. I guess your technology is down, so you can't really do anything but I guess like survive of what the technology you have there. So anyway, the planet you're on is basically prehistoric Earth, which is cool because it's like you're playing Jurassic Park. that game was awesome. There were certain parts of that game where, like, literally, you're walking through, like, let's say like a marsh or a jungle or something, and like you'll see like these dinosaurs pop up, and you're like, holy crap! Like you're like literally trying to find out ways to escape before they get to you, and it's really cool because you have to climb trees, you'll have to basically stay high. Your only defense against these dinosaurs, or dinosaurs in general, is to stay high. You have to basically stay in treetops, and the treetop design is so awesome. And sometimes pterodactyls will try and attack you when you're in the trees, and that's pretty cool because you have to like hurry up and move before they get you and such like that. Awesome, gotta love that. Okay. A few other games on VR. There's also let's see, a game called, not that one. Star Trek. Star Trek was another awesome game that I played on VR. I mean, this is literally. I mean, you would think, okay, Star Trek. Come on, who wants to buy a Star Trek game, right? Like, Star Trek? Like, huh? No, this game was insanely fun, and the multiplayer was insane. Like, you literally can like have conversations like while flying the spaceship and doing your mission about random things that has nothing to do with Star Trek, and then all of a sudden, like, some ship will warp out of like hyperspace, and all of a sudden you're in battle, and everyone's like, "Holy crap!" No, everyone gets into their like positions. You got one person doing the weapons, another person working on propulsion, another person working on tracking, and another person working on engineering. So it's really cool. Everyone has a job, and you don't have to stick with the same job.
Right. So Johnny, Alice, Matty. Gotcha. Right. Johnny, let's warp to the Gamma Hydra. Let's go. That one, no, turn right, left. That way. That way. There we go. Oh.
At the beginning of each playthrough, everyone can vote and see who they want to be. And then, then there's a captain seat, so it's actually 5 players. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I would say probably that is the best VR game that I played with Star Trek. And the visuals, the graphics, and everything were awesome. So yeah. So I'm gonna leave it off there. Definitely stay tuned with us. Definitely sign up on the website. Check out the website for our weekly tournaments. That's www.bossgaming.net. Me, Dynamic 2839. You can send me a friend request if need be. That's also my gamer tag on every console. It's also on my Instagram as well. If you want to go ahead and shoot me a message. All right. Other than that, all right, guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, boss up. Remember the Sega Dreamcast? Bro, that console was so awesome. Like, what happened to Sega? Like, I'm like, one day I'm just like, yeah, I'm so happy Sega bringing out these games, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're out of business. Like, what? They were the only console that was bringing over like all these Japanese titles. Like, Japanese titles never released in America like how they should. It's always like 1 or 2, and like we'll miss like 500 others, like best games ever type thing. Like, I was kind of shocked. I was like, what? Sega's out of business? Like, what? Why would you get rid of Dreamcast? One of the best games was Phantasy Star. Remember Phantasy Star? Phantasy Star was like one of the best games ever. They took out that game and the console. I'm like, what? So now, Sega, they're selling third-party titles over to Microsoft, Nintendo. I haven't seen nothing on PlayStation, but yeah, Sony's like, forget them, right? They used to be competitors now, think about it. Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 back in the day. Yeah. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. All I know is this. Sega went down, third-party titles coming to Xbox and Nintendo, right? So, as strange as that is, alright. Now, at least I get a chance to play my Sonic games, see how that is again. That's fun. That's awesome. That's great. But since all these third-party titles have been coming out, hasn't Sega made enough money by now to actually just bring out a new console? Like, come on, drop the Dreamcast 2. I don't want to see another Dreamcast, bro. Like, seriously. Well, what about... When did that console 3, yo? Yeah, like back in the 90s. Back in the 90s. Yes. They had a game on there called Another World. Another World was one of the most difficult games I ever played, but the graphics was way ahead of its time. Like, I love the graphics of Another World. So awesome. I couldn't beat the game. But I eventually did beat it. A year ago. Off of re-downloadable content on PS4. They brought it back out remastered on PS4. I beat it just a year ago. I could not beat it 20 years ago though. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I kind of feel like I'm way behind, but it was worth it. I mean, the ending was weird. I thought they should have made a part 2 to that. I think they did make a part 2 to it, but I don't see it on PS4. So I guess I would have to go out and find a classic 3DO and purchase Another World 2. That probably won't be too easy. I'm pretty sure it won't be easy to find a 3DO. If I do find one, it'll probably be super expensive or something like that. Yeah.